Ho hum. Another ACC Rookie of the Week award for Eli Holstein. I mean, come on, ACC. Get creative a little bit. You don't have to give it to the quarterback who puts up 5 touchdowns every week. I mean, really. Like, I know Eli Holstein threw for like 250 yards and 3 touchdowns and ran for 90 yards and 2 scores. I get it. That's impressive. Everybody likes the quarterback. But, I mean, come on, guys. There has to be another rookie, another freshman or redshirt freshman, whatever it is, who's having a big season. I don't care to look it up. I'm not going to take the time to do it, but I think you could. Or maybe Eli Holstein is really that good. 4 for 4 for the Pitt redshirt freshman quarterback. The transfer from Alabama comes in and goes 4 for 4, a clean sweep. Every game he's played, he has been named ACC Rookie of the Week, whether it was the season opener against Kent State, comeback wins against Cincinnati and West Virginia, or this past weekend's blowout win over Youngstown State. The only question now, I mean, there's a lot of questions, but the only question now is who are they going to give it to next week? Pitt is off. You can't really, conceivably, it will be tough to give it to Eli Holstein again. He's probably going to have to do like a community service project or something. Perhaps he could rescue some kittens from a burning building, or maybe win a Nobel Peace Prize or something. You know, some kind of accomplishment to get the ACC's attention, to get a 5th ACC Rookie of the Week. My guess is at some point over the next 8 games, at some point over the 8 weeks to come when Pitt actually plays games, Eli Holstein will do something to get that 5th ACC Rookie of the Week. And let me tell you, if he does, he's going to be an elite company. Elite company. As a matter of fact, he's already in a select group by getting 4 ACC Rookie of the Week honors. And it's going to get even more impressive if he gets it a 5th time. Let's talk about that, because Eli Holstein's obviously a big part of the success that Pitt has had this year. So let's talk about what Eli Holstein has meant to this team and some of the other top individual performances. It's kind of like the player rankings we did last week. You know, we ranked the top 5 players on the team so far. It's kind of like that, but let's talk about some of the guys who have truly gotten Pitt to this point at 4-0 coming out of the month of September. Perfect non-conference, perfect September, perfect start to the season. And let's try and have a perfect Morning Pitt here on the YouTube. See, I already messed it up. Look at that. Just as soon as I say have a perfect blah, 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 I go blah, blah, blah. So let's dive into it here on the Tuesday edition of the Morning Pitt. YouTube.com/Panther-Lair.com. Yeah, Pitt might be perfect through September, but I knew we would never get perfect through that intro. What are you going to do? It happens. But certainly, there's a lot to talk about with this team. Like I say, last week we did that top 5 players on the team. We started putting it on the message boards on Mondays, asking everyone to rank their top 5 players on the team. It's been interesting to see the conversations that have come out of that and how the rankings have changed over the course of the first 4 weeks of the season. And certainly the ones that we did yesterday, taking everyone's suggestions and rankings and polls for the top 5 players on the team. It was interesting to read. I gave you mine last week. I forget what it was. I think I had Kyle Lewis number 1, Eli Holstein number 2, Desmond Reed number 3, Rasheem Biles number 4, and then some combination of Ben Sauls, Kanate Mumfield, Donovan McMillan, and Brandon George at number 5. I don't know who it is. I can make a case for each one of those 4, and I did last week. I'm not going to do that again. I don't even know if I really have a top 5 player ranking. I'm curious what you think, though. I mean, if you already had Eli Holstein at number 1, you weren't going to bump him down. If you had him at 2 or 3 like I did, do you bump him up after this past weekend? You know, with Desmond Reed, is he out of sight, out of mind? Does he fall in the rankings because he didn't play against Youngstown State? For me, he wouldn't. For me, he would stay right up there. You know, I think top 3 continues to be Holstein, Lewis, and Reed. Desmond Reed, Eli Holstein, and Kyle Lewis. I'm so close to moving Eli Holstein into that number 1 spot. I think the only thing that I'm holding on to with keeping Kyle Lewis at number 1 and Eli Holstein at number 2 is that it was an FCS team. And I'm not holding that against Eli Holstein, but if I was making my rankings right now, I'd keep Lewis at 1, Holstein at 2, Reed at 3. I probably wouldn't change my rankings at all, actually. I still feel the same this week as I did a week ago. Partially because it was an FCS opponent, partially because there was nothing that really happened on Saturday that changed my mind. Now, 2 weeks from now, they go down to North Carolina, and Eli Holstein has another 300-yard, 3-touchdown game, and Pitt wins. I might have to move the young man up to number 1, unless Kyle Lewis, who has interceptions in each of the last 2 weeks, has like 2 pick sixes or something like that, in which case he would maintain his spot at the top of the rankings. But Suffice to say, Eli Holstein's right up there with Kyle Lewis and Desmond Reed, and Rasheem Biles is in Kanate Mumfield, and Donovan McMillan and Brandon George, and some of these, and Ben Sauls, some of these guys who have been playing really, really good this year at a really high level so far this season. And as we talk about individual performances, we talk about players who have been truly carrying this team and leading the charge for Pitt's perfect 4-0 start. I mean, it occurs to me that, like, if you're a Pitt fan, you no longer have any, space to complain about the transfer portal. Because no matter what the portal has taken from you, and you can make a case that, with Jordan Addison leaving, the portal took away Pitt's chance to win 10 or 11 games, maybe win the ACC again in 2022. You can make that case, but they still ended up winning 9 games. It was a good season. But no matter what the portal has taken from you, it has given it back to you far more. And has given you far more success than it has taken. And we can make, you can make a case this year about losing Dayon Hayes and Sam Okunlola and DeAndre Jules and the impact that's had on Pitt's defensive line, and where they would be right now, or what the next 8 games might be if they had a more effective defensive line. And I get that. I mean, it's not to say that there weren't losses, but right now Pitt's leading passer is a transfer. Pitt's top 2 rushers are transfers. 3 of Pitt's top 2 players in receiving, I don't want to say receivers because there's multiple positions represented here, but 3 of the top 4 players in receptions and receiving yards for Pitt this season are transfers. The transfer portal has rebuilt Pitt's offense. And you might say, yeah, well, what about defense? And you're right. Pitt's leading tackler is a transfer. But like when you look down the list of the top 11 tackles, like number 1 is a transfer, Donovan McMillan, obviously. 2 through 11 are all homegrown guys, all recruited guys. And so you're right. It's, there's far more recruited talent on defense. But let's be honest, what did this season need? What did Pitt need the most this season what did Pitt need the most to turn this season into a success or give themselves a chance of having success? And it was improving the offense. And they've done that entirely through the transfer portal. All these guys, Holstein, Reed, who incidentally are the top 2 rushers on this team. I said the 2 leading rushers. Holstein and Reed are the 2 leading rushers on this team. And then among the receivers, Kanate Mumfield was a transfer. Desmond Reed is one of the top 4 receiving targets on this offense, and so is Raphael Williams. That's 3 out of the top 4 receivers. Number 5, of course, is Gavin Bartholomew. Number 2 is Kenny Johnson. Those 2 are recruited, but then number 6 is Sincere Lee. So 3 out of the top 4 receiving targets and 4 out of the top 6, all transfers. Pitt rebuilt its offense through the transfer portal. And so if you complained about the portal in the past, I think you have to stop, because your favorite team is now perfect to start the season. A 4-0 record for the first time in 24 years, the first perfect non-conference record ever, and it's almost entirely, if not exclusively, because of transfers. Eli Holstein's success thus far is nothing short of remarkable. I think everyone knows that when you look at the stats and kind of where it positions him. I mean, he's currently 3rd in the ACC in passing yards, 2nd in the ACC in passing touchdowns, top 15 in the nation in both categories. I think he's actually he's like number 13 in passing yards, and he's tied for the 3rd most passing touchdowns with 12 passing touchdowns. He's got 1,186 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions through 4 games. If you take that to like what pace is he on, and I hate doing these kinds of things. I feel like there's a lot of holes in this kind of thing of, well, he's on pace for. But if he keeps up his current pace over the course of 12 games, he'll finish with more than 3,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Now, precisely, it would be 3,558 yards at his current pace over 12 games. If he actually ends up there, he will have the 3rd highest single-season passing total in Pitt history. Kenny Pickett has number 1 with 4,319 yards in 2021. Rod Rutherford's number 2 with 3,679 in 2003. Of course, number 3 on the current list is Tino Sinceri, who threw for 3,200, almost 3,300 yards in 2012. Eli Holstein's current pace would put him 121 yards behind Rod Rutherford, who is second all-time with his 2003 performance. And that's just through 12 games for Holstein. If he plays a third game or if he goes over that pace, has some big games somewhere in there, he very well could pass it. Now, that's just on the pace. You never know what he'll actually end up doing, but it's hard to argue with what he has done so far. And, of course, as I said, getting his 4th ACC Rookie of the Week honors. I wrote about this a little bit yesterday, but I think it bears repeating. I looked back through the ACC's history, and I got back to about 2011, and records started getting spotty and a little bit harder to track. So I said, well, let's just count it back to 2013 when the conference expanded to add Pitt and Syracuse. We'll go back to 2013, so you're looking at 11 seasons, right? From 2013 through 2023. Over that time, there have been 8 players who won ACC Rookie of the Week honors 4 or more times in a season. 8 players. All right. And these names, Jameis Winston, DeAndre Francois, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Sam Howell, Tyler Van Dyke, Drake May, Kevin Concepcion. Like, those are some of the biggest names in the recent history of the ACC. Winston, Jones, Lawrence, Howell, May. I mean, like, these are some big-time players. And of those 8 guys who won ACC Rookie of the Year, Rookie of the Week 4 times or more, 7 out of those 8 ended up winning Rookie of the Year. The only one who didn't was Daniel Jones because he was the same year as DeAndre Francois. Francois ended up winning it. Now, even within that group, you can get to something a little bit, even a more select group, a more elite group if Eli Holstein can go win a 5th ACC Rookie of the Week. Because that group, that's only been done since 2013. 1, 2, 3, 4, by 5 players. I had to recount. I lost track. Jameis Winston won ACC Rookie of the Week 6 times in 2013 when he was a Heisman Trophy finalist. Right? Trevor Lawrence in 2018 won it 5 times. Also an ACC champion, just like Winston in 2013. Sam Howell won it 6 times in 2019, ACC Rookie of the Week. Tyler Van Dyke did it 5 times in 2021, and Drake May did it 5 times in 2022. So Eli Holstein needs one more ACC Rookie of the Week honor to join a group that is Drake May, Tyler Van Dyke, Sam Howell, Trevor Lawrence, and Jameis Winston. That's some select company. When Travis Etienne was a rookie in 2017, he only won it twice. When Lamar Jackson was a rookie in 2015, he only won it 3 times. Tied with Jordan Whitehead that year, actually. Like some of the more outstanding players in this conference's recent history, Greg Dortch and A.J. Dillon, Travis Etienne, like I mentioned, Lamar Jackson. I mean, some of these guys didn't win ACC Rookie of the Week as many times as Eli Holstein already has, and he's only 4 weeks into the season. This is quickly becoming, and I don't know if the ACC Illuminati would let it be put in this context. I think they would claim that you have to look beyond the numbers and this kind of thing. But, I mean, this is quickly becoming one of the greatest rookie seasons in ACC history. And again, I don't think the ACC Illuminati would allow this to happen unless it served their greater cause of pushing Holstein as a national player of recognition. But, I mean, he is very much on the verge of that. Nobody else has had a start like this. All those guys I just mentioned, May and Tyler Van Dyke and Sam Howell and Jameis Winston and DeAndre Francois, all these guys, none of them started like Eli Holstein has started. None of them. None of them, either the guys who won it 4 times or 5 times or 6 times, none of them won it 4 times in a row to start the season. Jameis Winston, and Sam Howell have the most. Since 2013, the most ACC Rookie of the Week honors in a single season. They won it 6 times each, and neither one of them did it at the beginning. Sam Howell got it the first 2 weeks of the season. I would have to double check. I'm sure Jameis Winston got it after the performance against Pitt in this 2013 season opener. Unless that was Labor Day night. Maybe it was too late to... Either way, it doesn't matter. They didn't do it 4 times in a row. They didn't go 4 for 4 on the first 4 games of the season. And he has faced, Holstein has, 2 power conference teams in getting there. Like, I don't think we can heap enough praise on the performance that Eli Holstein has put up through 4 games. Now he's got twice that many games left to show that he's actually up to it. And every game is going to be a proving ground for him. Every game is going to be a new test, a new challenge. North Carolina obviously smarting from the James Madison loss and taking extreme measures to circle the wagons. Didn't make players available to the media after the James Madison game on Saturday, and they're not making players available to the media this week in advance of the game against Duke. And so that could be an overreaction and paranoia and create a little bit of tightness among the players. But either way, it doesn't matter. Whatever you think of North Carolina's defense, it's going to be a challenge in Chapel Hill in 2 weeks. Pitt's going to have to give itself a several touchdown cushion, I think, in order to secure a win down there, because it's been a really hard place to win, probably for a variety of reasons. But I don't think you can heap enough praise on the job Eli Holstein has done. And kind of like I said yesterday, you get 2 weeks to sort of bask in it. You get 2 weeks to just bask in having the ACC's best rookie player right now. And a guy who is off to the best start of any rookie probably in ACC history. That's pretty excellent. And you can make a good case for him being the number 1 player on the team. I still lean a little bit toward Kyle Lewis. Just for now, Lewis is second on the team in tackles with 33 tackles. He's got 4 tackles for loss, which is third most on the team. He's got 1 sack. He has 2 interceptions, which is a team best 2 interceptions in the last 2 games. Or they both came in the last 2 games. He's got a forced fumble. He's making plays all over the field. Rasheem Biles is not far behind him. As a matter of fact, he's only 1 tackle behind. He's got 2.5 more tackles for loss, 1.5 more sacks. He doesn't have any interceptions. But, both of those guys are playing at a really, really high level right now. I think they continue to be 2 of Pitt's top 5 players. You make a case for anywhere within that top 5, wherever you want to put them. Desmond Reed, like I say, I think is still one of the best players on this team. His numbers still stack up really, really favorably. Even without playing in this last game, he's second in the conference in rushing yards per game. He's only played 3 games. He's averaging 106.3 rushing yards per game. There's only 2 players in the ACC currently averaging more than 100 rushing yards per game. And it's Desmond Reed at 106.3 and Omarion Hampton from North Carolina, 138.8. Hampton is, I think, far and away the top running back in the conference. He was entering the season, and he continues to be now. I think this season has just lived up to it. He's averaging, like I say, almost 140 rushing yards per game. He's averaging 6.5 yards per carry. He's leading the conference in rushing yards, rushing attempts. He's second in rushing touchdowns. Bashal Tootin has 7. Hampton has 6. But Desmond Reed, in only 3 games, is 4th in the conference in total rushing yards. He's got 319 rushing yards. He's less than 100 yards behind the 2 guys in front of him who have played 4 games. He's quite a bit behind Hampton, but that's going to happen. That's sort of expected. Hampton's really, really good. But Desmond Reed is also really, really good and one of the best players in the conference, and I think one of Pitt's best players. He scored he's got 5 touchdowns on the season, which is 4th most, tied for 4th most in the conference, despite only playing 3 games. Again, he's behind Tootin, Brashard Smith, and Omarion Hampton, who all have, Tootin has 8, Smith has 6, Smith has 7, Hampton has 6, Desmond Reed has 5. So, even with only playing 3 games, Desmond Reed is still one of the most productive, best players in the conference, and I think he's one of Pitt's best players. And I still don't know who else you put in that group. So, I think Holstein, Reed, Lewis, and Biles, to me, are a clear top 4 in whatever order you want to put them. I don't know who your number 5 guy would be. McMillan, I guess. I think Donovan McMillan as the team's leading tackler is a good option. I think Brandon George as a solidifying force is a good option. I think Kanate Mumfield is a good option. I think he's just been really, really good. There's a lot of good options, and it's sort of natural. When you're 4-0, there's probably going to be a lot of guys on your team who could make a case for being among the best players on your team, and that's certainly the case with all of those guys. So there's some standout individual performances. It's the fun. It's it's that kind of stuff that's fun to talk about when your team goes 4-0. You can talk about all these, good players that your team has. And again, like I said, this is happening before an off week. So we get 2 weeks to talk about this. Obviously, with Pitt being off, we don't have a lot in the way of game preview content this week, but we have a whole lot to recap the first 4 games at Panther-Lair.com. We've got snap counts, targets, kind of a breakdown of how players are being used, where they're being effective. We'll have recruiting updates, a lot of stuff looking at football, basketball, and recruiting. It's all covered right there at Panther-Lair.com, and message boards to talk to other Pitt fans. It's the best online community of Pitt fans that you're going to find. If you want to talk to other Pitt fans who are serious about Pitt sports, the place to do it is at Panther-Lair.com. And if you're wondering about it and you would like to check it out, we'll have a good option for you. Go sign up with the promo code PITTPERFECT. One word, PITTPERFECT, PITTPERFECT, and you can get a free trial of Panther-Lair.com that lasts through the end of the regular season. You can't beat that. We're going to give you through November 30th, so like 2 months and a week of free Panther-Lair.com to get the best Pitt coverage. Go sign up now with promo code PITTPERFECT. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. That way you don't miss any of our Pitt video content here at youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. And hit the like button because we like that. And I hope you like this. So, yeah, thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. I hope your week got off to a great start yesterday. We'll have lots more video content here on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com and a lot of Pitt content at Panther-Lair.com. So like and subscribe. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow for the Morning Pitt right here on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com.